Hello there guys, Dave Nader right here, and today I got another movie review for you. Now the movie that I'm reviewing today is the slash flick horror film You're Next, which premiered at TIFF in 2011, but didn't get a wide release in the US until 2013. It's definitely gotten mixed opinions. The people who saw it at TIFF loved it, and the people who saw it after it got a wide release, for the most part, thought, it's fine, after having it be hyped up for them. So I was wondering if they just got overly hyped up and just didn't live up to their unrealistic expectations, or if this really just isn't all that great of a movie. I've been mildly interested for the past 3 years since I first heard about it in 2013, and I figured it's Halloween time, so why not go ahead and check it out. So the plot synopsis is very simple. A family gets together in a decent-sized house to have a meal, just spend some family time with each other for the first time in a while, and things go horribly wrong when 3 men with animal masks show up and begin murdering everyone, and you get a slash flick horror film to where the family is trying to survive, and the main actress in the movie, the leading lady, she's the one who has to take charge, and she's the one who is really like keeping the family together and coming up with the plans for how to fight off the killers. And the first half of this movie, as I kind of heard it is just kind of your average slash flick horror film with, some differences. Of course, it's definitely a big homage to 70s and 80s horror films of this nature, and you definitely see that in the cinematography. At times, some shots, it reminded me a good bit of, say, John Carpenter movies, and it definitely has some of the feel of old 70s and 80s slash flick horror films, and the musical cues, it's definitely reminded me of John Carpenter at times. So, that it's been done plenty of times. It's been done plenty of times since, like in It Follows or in Stranger Things, but it's still something that, always works on me. It always seemed very charming to me, and I like to see that type of stuff. And the lead actress in the movie is just very cool. She really takes charge, and she does just really clever things to fight against the killers. And you start thinking, like, dang, like how does she know how to do all this stuff? It is explained, and it was like, oh, okay. Because I was wondering if they were going to explain it, like why is she so resourceful, and they did. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that works. And the actress gave a very good performance. She's very likable right from the beginning. But that's about it, because most of the other characters are just bland and boring. And because I don't care about the characters for the first half of the movie, it's not boring, but it's getting close to that, because, yeah, sure, there's plenty of stuff that's happening. Like, it's a fairly often occurrence where the killers, like, get into the house or like shoot at the family with crossbows, or people get cut up. It's definitely a pretty violent movie. There's plenty of gore to keep gorehounds interested, but I didn't care about any of the characters, so when they got killed it was just like, okay, it's not like an Alien to where when you see people get hurt it makes you feel sad. It's like, that's bad. The only person you care about is the leading lady in the movie. And also, she's the only person in the movie who gives like a consistently really good performance. All the other actors are okay to kind of bad. When like the girls are just going, like, when stuff first goes down, it's just annoying. You don't sympathize with them at all, mainly just because like their characters weren't developed or anything to make them likable, or they're just straight up unlikable characters. But also, it's just not that great of acting. The dialogue, for the most part, it's nothing special, pretty standard, not really delivered in any special way. It's just the only things that keeps you hooked for the first half is just the lead actress and the direction, which isn't mind-blowing or anything, but, it does an okay job at paying homage to 70s and 80s horror films, and it looks nice. There's some good shots here and there. And the music is decent on occasion as well. That's about it. But the second half gets a lot better. And, it just gets a lot more exciting because, it's not really a spoiler to say, but that by the second half, a lot of the annoying characters are kind of gone. I'm sure you know why, because, it's a slash flick horror film. That's hardly a spoiler. You know that going in. People are going to die. And so it's mainly just the leading lady who's doing her thing, and, I mean, she just does cooler and cooler things, the way she's fighting. I mean, she's pretty badass, really. And also, some of the characters that are left are different elements are added to the story that make them much more interesting, and different things that caught me off guard, because like when I heard people talk about the movie at most, they'd be like, yeah, the first half kind of sucks and the second half is cool because of the leading lady. So I figured that was the only thing that was going to set this apart from your average horror films. But no, like the story gets a lot more interesting in the second half, and I won't give any of it away, but it took some pretty clever turns, and there was some decent black comedy at times as well that made me chuckle, if not laugh. And I did laugh a few times, and it gets a lot more suspenseful because, most of the action is centered on the lead actress, and because you actually care about her, it's suspenseful when she's in danger. And also just the acting just seemed to noticeably get a little bit better in the second half from everyone, including the lead actress. So they really upped the ante with the second half. It's a lot more interesting, a lot more exciting. It's funnier. The violence is because in the first half, yeah, it's gory, but the kills aren't like especially unique for horror films. So that's one of the main things that keeps it from being interesting. But it gets a lot more brutal and a bit more inventive at times in the second half. There are moments where it was like, ooh, yeah, that's pretty violent. I'm kind of a gore hound for horror movies, so, I can kind of appreciate that type of stuff because I'm a weirdo. And overall, it's just, again, it's a significantly better movie. And looking back in the first half, looking back at, like, the whole movie after it ends, I think they might have purposefully, in some ways, tried to make the first half kind of mediocre so that it really catches you off guard when all of a sudden it becomes, like, a pretty darn good movie for the second half. And that's cool, but it doesn't change the fact that the first half isn't really that great at all. But still, it's worth a watch. It's, all things considered, it is a pretty good movie, and by the end of it you do like it, and the leading actress is awesome, and even in the first half of the movie she also gives just a really good performance. So that's why overall I'm going to give this movie a B. It's a decent horror film, it's worth checking out, but yeah, just the first half can be kind of difficult to get through. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please rate and comment and subscribe, and if you want to, you can also share. Goodbye.